Ladies and gentlemen, we are once again about to start another 3v3 season. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the offensive teams I plan on using and also going over my defenses, which I will switch up based on my opponents, but I just want to go over what my plan is to start with. So first, I'm going to go over some offense tips that I always do, but if you haven't seen a video like one of these from me before, you might not have seen these tips. So for offense, I determine my offense before I determine my defense. So if I need something for offense, I think I'm going to want it. I do not consider it for defense. So first you have to determine whether you want to go heavy offense, heavy defense, or bespoke, meaning just you determine based on the situation, based on your opponent every single time. I like to go heavy offense, and if you're going heavy offense, you want to bring more, make sure you're ready for any kind of team you think you're going to face. You got to scout your opponent, you got to determine what they like to set in 3v3. At the beginning of the season, it's a little trickier because the last Datacron set expired, and the information from last season's history on Swigga.gg might be outdated, but you can still kind of get a sense of what their playstyle is and which Galactic Legends they like to set more often than not. You got to figure out how to counter all of those. And then for offense, you got to determine which Galactic Legends won't hold well in your league, like in Kyber. Sith Eternal has been historically an offensive character, but that might be switching eventually. I don't know if that's happening right now or will happen later. And then you also got to identify classic teams that get high banners but not going to hold well on defense. This is going to be like Imperial Troopers and Bad Batch. Imperial Troopers could once in a while catch people off guard, but for the most part they can be picked apart if your opponent decides which team they face instead of you deciding which team you face. And then if you prefer heavy offense, you bring extra Galactic Legends, even if you don't think you're going to need a specific them for a specific counter. So looking here at the comps I have Supreme Leader Kylo for offense. I had him for offense even when he had his Datacron, and honestly, the Datacron for me was more about stats. I'm keeping him for offense. I don't know if he's going to take out Lord Vader. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but I'm going offense heavy, so this guy is coming with me on offense. And Jedi Master Luke, not sure what I'm doing with him yet. I think Hermit Yoda might go elsewhere, but he's just kind of a free agent for now. Sometimes it's useful for countering Jedi Master Kenobi if I don't have my own Jedi Master Kenobi, or if their Commander Tano is faster, and in that case I'd use Revan and Grey Master Yoda with Jedi Master Luke, but these are just kind of baseline comps that I like to start with. Next I got Jedi Master Kenobi, and this is for Jabba or Amir. Probably for Jabba, honestly. I don't have Afra. I don't know how Afra does in 3v3 against Jabba anyway, but Mace Windu works very well with Commander Tano against Jabba. It's a very clean match. Jabba's way easier to handle in 3v3s, so this is my go-to team for that. And if they said JMK and Jabba, then I'm gonna have to decide what I'm doing. And then Sith Eternal and Watt, I still want to keep them for offense. You can get kind of tricky and put them on defense, but they're still kind of vulnerable for a Supreme Leader Kylo solo. I think at 3v3, you don't have enough tools to make it impossible for a Supreme Leader Kylo solo, so he's definitely coming on offense. And then I'm actually keeping Rey on offense this season. I haven't normally done it, but it is the best team to counter Rey because when you're controlling, you can avoid pitfalls like targeting the wrong character, whirlwinding Rey instead of someone that can actually die from that. And last season I used Lord Vader with a protection up Datacron. That's not going to work here anymore. Of course, Palpatine, Barge 8, and Starkiller is an option for Rey, but it doesn't work well when Jedi Training Rey is in the mix as well. It works well against this comp. If people set that, I'm probably going to use Starkiller there. But for now, I want to have both options available, and they can take out plenty anyway. In here, I named my Iden team CLS Patrol because they are, in GAC's past, they've been a hard counter to CLS, C-3PO, and then 3PO and Chewie. But I don't know, if people have that Datacron, it might not work. But we'll see. That Datacron doesn't make him immune to stun, so we might be able to still just take out CLS first turn. Just gonna see what happens. Next, I got more classic offensive teams. I don't know if this will be a good defensive team, but I like to keep it on offense because both these teams actually, Jedi Revan and Hux, because when a faction is uncertain on how you want to split them, like maybe I'll need Hux with Supreme Leader Kylo, but if I set this team on defense, that I wouldn't have that available. So I'm keeping them on offense. If Supreme Leader Kylo doesn't need Hux, then this is a great option. It can outspeed most teams, and if they have a fragile key character, you can take him out right away. And then Jedi Revan, he's not as good as it's not as good as it used to be, but it could still take out more classic teams, and you can use it pretty strategically still and take out lots of good teams for good banners. And then we got Bad Batch. That's gonna take out a whole host of things. Sometimes I wish I had more than one Bad Batch team because it usually gets great banners and I can get the jump on people, and people don't need a ton of explanation of why these guys are just an offensive team. And then this is the niche counter. This is for Qui-Gon, Anakin, and Ki-Adi-Mundi, and it works as long as they don't have sky-high defense or something like that, and as long as they don't target the wrong people constantly, which usually it works very well. Because Jango starts in damage immunity, so he can't be damaged even by Anakin's massive AoE. B1's going to take 8 stacks of damage no matter how much damage stealth, even if it's 1,000,000. And then Newt Gunray comes back once and stays under stealth. So they all have ways to prevent dying right away. So I like to get Qui-Gon down, and then Anakin cannot kill everyone right away, and then I kill him, and then I move on to Ki-Adi-Mundi. And now I'm getting to the characters where I'm not sure where I'll use them, if I do use them at all. Wampa, not as good without the protection up, but I still hope I will have use for him, but that really took him to another level. He still probably can find use, but it's just I'm gonna have to be more selective with him. And then Darth Vader, I'm not sure how to use Darth Vader right now, to be honest. I don't want to set him on defense with Lord Vader, because I don't think it makes it tricky enough. But him, Moff Gideon, Short Trooper, they can take out something, Jeeves or something. I'm still figuring out what to use Darth Vader against. We got backup clones. There are some times where they're the best counter I have left available, so I'm not going to set them on defense. They could steal some banners, but they're not going to be tricky enough to really, I don't know, catch anyone off guard. So keeping them on offense, it's not because they have a specific offensive purpose. Then bounty hunters, I need to train myself to use Aura Singh because I have her now, and so I set Bosco in defense. So it'll either be this team or Fennec in the lead, and depending on what I come across. So yeah, I'm not very well experienced with Aura Singh, but I hope I can change that in this season. And then of course Imperial Troopers are a staple. You want them on offense. I don't think putting them on defense is very clever. Dark Trooper is going to get 60% turn meter when you have the 20% turn meter datacron, because he automatically has weaker health and protection based on his setup with the stacks and everything. And yeah, this team can still run the table on some enemy teams. I think they roll over any kind of resistance team that's not Galactic Legend Ray, and then teams that aren't fast enough to get out ahead of them. And then this, I do want to put it on defense eventually, but I need the 3PO and Chewie datacron, and I don't even know if that'll stop Iden. But otherwise, I need to find a use for this on offense, because otherwise it just melts to Iden Versio. And then the last couple teams, Geos are just kind of a leftover, but Inquisitors, I have the datacron, and I think this is probably going to be the best comp to use on offense. If people set like a Darth Revan team, maybe this will be the way to go, but if it's Darth Revan, Bastila, and Malak, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to take out Malak. Probably eventually, and I'll probably be able to stay up, but if it's like Savage and Malak, probably not going to be able to get through both of them. But anyway, Inquisitors on defense are a sitting duck for Padme, not even a great Padme. It's going to be Padme, Ahsoka, and GK. Well, I guess that is a good Padme. But those are characters that are very much left over. And actually, that's another team I need. So there you go. Thought of it right on tape. Another team I was forgetting. But this really handles Grand Inquisitor very well, even with the Super Datacron. Padme is immune to fear, and all the stacks of courage, really chew through them quite fast. Now moving on to my defense. I'm showing my actual defense just to save time, not making a bunch of squads. And if you are facing me, just know I will change it up. However, I want to talk about my defensive philosophy. So you want to craft some unconventional teams that your opponent might underestimate and put them in the front. And those are sometimes teams that don't have a lot of history on Swigga.gg. So that's just your room for creativity there. But you gotta scout them, your opponent too, figure out what they've had trouble with in the past, and then try to make a point to set that. And then teams that are hard no matter what to deal with, you put them in the back wall. Or on the top wall. That could work either way, because sometimes people are anticipating something on the back wall. And they see a lot of tough stuff on the top. They're gonna try to gamble on your front wall, front bottom wall. And then teams with low banner potential, like protection recovery, this is General Skywalker, and other teams that just can't get the banners back but are very strong. And then if you're not sure how to use a team and you know it's good, just throw it on defense. That's honestly something I do quite a lot. And then if you are going the defense heavy route, just throw a bunch of Galactic Legends on the front wall and then make your opponent work for it, and then just try to do your best with the off-meta counters, or just non-GL counters. I mean, sometimes they're pretty much meta. Now looking at the front wall, General Skywalker, like I talked about, the datacron I have for him, it's not like perfectly optimal. It's not even close. It's just I don't have set 5 anymore, so I just set some things that weren't perfectly what I wanted. And Dash Rendar, if I see someone has Afra, I'm probably going to pull him on offense, so he's probably going to end up on offense a lot because most people have Afra where I'm at. But it's the turn meter gain on a basic, so Han Solo goes, he shoots, he automatically gets 100% turn meter. And if I'm on offense and I have my say, I use Deadeye, he gets another 100%. But on defense, he does the shrug. He gets 50% turn meter, which is still going to have him get another turn, usually before the next team. I didn't reroll any of these stats, this is just what I got. 42% crit avoidance. Not necessary for Dash and Han with Chewie there, but it does help Chewie survive. And Darth Maul, I'm giving him another chance on defense. Last 3v3 season, he actually did pretty good. In 5v5, it wasn't the best defensive team, but I did roll up to the Canderous level 7. Go over here. And that's going to be an AoE armor shred and tons of exposes, and he gets protection up, so it's going to make him very survivable. Got the turn meter, the reset for the basic, so a lot of stuff that should make this pretty tricky. And then the stats, I mean, they're okay. It's pretty good health and protection. Offense is not high, and crit avoidance is, it's not going to be that impactful. So that's that. And then I am trying the Savage Malik Talon thing, because I am putting Darth Revan and Bastila with my Malgus. Savage with Darth Maul and Dooku, which I said before, isn't really working. It just gets run over by Bad Batch and a couple of things, so I am just trying it different this time. Savage will make Malik very survivable, and he's hard to deal with himself, and if he's getting hit all the time, we're getting turn meter with Talon. And I get plenty of defense there. Last team here is Bam with Hondo, and Hondo I did not have last 3v3, so this is an experiment for me, and I did get his Datacron, which is giving him 100% protection up, extra ransom, and he's reducing his cooldowns all the time. So there's plenty there. I also have the Omicron on him, which helps him get to a higher ceiling with his stats. The stats here, I do like that it's a lot of protection. It's going to make him hard to kill. People really need something that can do a lot of damage or do insta-kills to take this out. Because I also have Nest here, that's kind of like a preventative for CLS. And now looking at the back wall, I got a couple Galactic Legends. I just got Lord Vader and Jabba. I'm not convinced my Lord Vader is going to do much of anything special, but I'd rather have some on defense because I don't think Troopers are an easy one-shot for this. I got the Tank Revive to prevent shenanigans against, Royal Guard. I think Thrawn will stop Bounty Hunters pretty good. So they'll have to do something. The stats are kind of spread out, not that great. Jabba, I don't have the Datacron anymore specifically for him, but we do have Scoundrel Datacrons. It doesn't apply to Jabba specifically as a Scoundrel, so I might want to change that, but I think that I'll be able to make good use of the ability blocks. Not going to get too much turn meter, wouldn't get too much turn meter from the turn meter again level 3 or level 6, but I think ability block might be nice, and it might throw some people for a loop, especially in 3v3 because they don't have much ability blocks going on and got extra buffs. I haven't really used one of these very much to much avail, but I got good health here too, so that's mainly what it's about as well. Malik, putting him with Darth Revan and Bastila Shan. This is an expensive team, but it should almost ensure they use a Galactic Legend and can't get around it with a budget counter. Tank Revive, lots of defense, some extra protection. Should be something that's pretty tricky to take out. And then the Resistance team, I put Finn with these two guys. I gave him Retribution. That, I don't know if that'll make it a suitable team or not. I might want to change the Datacron. I have the one that's you get all the crit avoidance, but I think this is probably best for this type of team. And they got great tenacity and armor to help them survive. I have tons of resistance penetration Datacrons, and I wish that one of them was my resistance ability, because these guys do special damage. But they actually don't have high base resistance penetration, so it's not that good anyway on them. And here, General Grievous, put him with B2 and Magna Guard, and they're both tanks, so that works well with it for the tank revive. And it prevents revives on droids, so that's taking Night Sisters out as an option. Lots of health, crit damage, so General Grievous is going to do plenty of damage, and with one of them coming back, that's going to give him an extra defeat for 3 total defeats. He's going to be able to reset his cooldowns and take a bonus turn. So hopefully that should be at least tricky or steal some banners, but I don't really want him on offense, so he's staying on defense here. And now for the top wall, I don't think this is super tough top wall. I got my Qui-Gon team and my Sword team up here. Light side allies, this isn't doing much, but I just mainly set this for the armor penetration. A lot of health and tenacity. I don't know, I might switch this Datacron because it's very good and I might want to use it on offense. This is really a good Datacron, like for the stat rolls. Very quite lucky with all those high stats. And this I need to change because I don't want T3 in here. I want IG-11 as a tank, because this is going to help keep bringing people back. I do have the Sortie Datacron level 9, so they're going to keep coming back after spare parts goes down. So there's not tons of damage dealers. I mean, it's basically just going to be Sortie as the damage dealer. IG-11 can flip the debuffs to the opponent and give them a bunch of dots, and then we can get a bunch of turn meter with it. So this one worked out quite well, and we're going to stack offense with the spare parts. Normally I set T3 with it because it's just like it can get out fast and furious and maybe kill some people, but this is going for more of the slow burn, so I want a tank in there, and the only, well, she's not a tank, but she is durable. Does she taunt without Quill? Okay, yeah, it's got a taunt, but it's just not a pre-taunt. So that's fine. It'll get there. It'll get some turn meter from BB-8. But this is great stats too on it. Some good tenacity, armor penetration. Well, resistance penetration. See, it's heavy resistance pen, and there's not really special damage on that team, so that's wasted. I wish I could re-roll it, but I can't, so I shan't. And Radis is just standard defensive team. He does do special damage, so resistance penetration is going well on him, and plenty of armor, which is why I had it. I don't love the level 3, but again, reroll mats pretty low. Then got the boss team with Zam and Dengar, just because they're really annoying. Zam, I can't really make use of her in 3v3 on offense because there's too many vital characters that can't be replaced by her. And what do I got here? I got tons of defense, so this is going to make them very hard to get through. They're going to get turn meter. I think it's probably Dengar that's going to go first. He's going to throw out his bombs. They're going to reset their cooldowns on their basic, so boss is going to cycle through a few. It could catch some people off guard, especially with all that defense. It's bringing up a team that's pretty survivable anyway, and people will tend to underestimate and make it even tougher. And I said Trey on defense for now. We'll see if I continue that. We got the tank revive, lots of defense, protection, some health. I just want to see how this does. It's a tricky team, and I don't know if there's anything in particular I want to keep it for on offense. Can't beat Galactic Legends anymore, and Malgus is super iffy. So I'm just going to see how it does on defense. And just a real quick look at the ships. I am keeping all my big guns for offense. So what were previously big guns in Malevolence and Negotiator, that's what I have on defense, as well as Radis, which is kind of a banished sailor, but I have had holds with it before, surprisingly. And yeah, I just want to make sure I clear ships, which still doesn't always happen anyway. But yeah, that's it. That's my offense and defense. That's how I think about it going through. Hopefully it helped you. I know most people that watch this, or a lot of my audience, doesn't have anywhere near the options I have, so that's fine. But hopefully you see the thought process and figure out some different tips for your own Grand Arena. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope to see you for my Grand Arena matches, and good luck this season.